Welcome to this week's Behind the Wheel Show, featuring Gene Capo of Victory Honda of Sandusky. And now, here's Gino.
Hi, folks. Gene Capo here, BehindTheWheelRadio.com. We're back again this week, rocking a new show at 1450 AM WLEC Mix 102.7 and Eagle 99.1. And Troy is hanging out with us. How you doing, Troy?
I'm doing great, Gino. How are you?
It's great to see you. I'm doing great. We got super good questions, you guys. 419-975-9205 with your questions. I'm Gene Capo. I operate Victory Honda of Sandusky, Ohio, right on the corner of Hayes and Perkins Avenue. And Victory Pre-Owned Cars, 4104 Milan Road, between Pizza Hut and Red Lobster, right at the entrance of the Sandusky Mall. Johnny Perez is out there rocking out the deals, too. Many of you, if you know us, you know Johnny. He's a great guy. He knows all about the cars. He has great methods of financing for everyone. Great interest rates, all the tools to give you a great deal on a used car or a new car. Either way you want to go, we can serve you. We have a wonderful website as well, you guys, victorysandusky.com. Go check it out. We got all the pictures, all the colors, the flavors, every single car, new cars, used cars. You can see actual photos so you see how they really look. A stock photo just takes all the fun out of it, doesn't it, Troy? The car's not even real.
I think it just devalues on what you're exactly looking at.
Plus, you don't even know if they have the car then.
Right.
And oftentimes when they have a picture, they don't have the car. Mm-hmm. So here's what you can do, guys. Make sure that you contact us, reach out to us, text us. Hey, is the car still there? We're going to say, yeah, we'll send you a little video of it. We'll pull it inside, clean it up, make sure there's gas in it. We've already made sure all of them are tip-top condition. So we've tried to clean them all up and polish the paint and clean all the windows and the consoles and under the seats, even the glove box, Troy.
Really?
Yep. And then once we're done, we put them out there with a nice warranty. We fix them up. If they need tires, we do tires. We do brakes. We do oil changes, air filters. The list goes on and on. We'll catch up all the recalls if there are any on the car. And then we put it up for sale for you. So come and check them out, new or used, guys. We've got great deals right now. Questions, you guys. Teresa from Huron's checking in. Rebecca from Mansfield. Andy from Milan. Thelma from Sandusky. Thelma. Ooh. And then Tyler from Oregon. So we got a bunch of good ones. Let's start with Tyler from Oregon. Do we have time, Troy? We do. We do. Hi, Gene. I signed my loan the other day on my new car. The interest rate was supposed to be 3.94%. But on my contract, it reads 4.21%. I bought the car in a hurry and didn't notice until I got home. Why is this so? Any ideas? Tyler from Oregon. Well, that's a good question. It seems like that would be one he would ask the bank right away, I would guess, Tyler. But you've asked me, so I'll try and answer it for you. It may be a number of things. It could be just a flat mistake. Maybe the rate was supposed to be 3.94, and maybe it's supposed to be, and then they just mistakenly put in 4.21. However, in the state of Ohio, many banks have contracts that have what's called an interest rate, which in your case is stated it's supposed to be 3.94%. But many contracts also have an annual percentage rate, which can be different than the interest rate because of the fees charged on the loan. Because some lenders, apart from the interest rate they charge you, they'll charge you $120 or $130 or up to $200 fee to process the loan. And that is reflected and laid out on the contract. And sometimes they'll add that money to the loan, recalculating the annual percentage rate to be higher because of those fees are added in there. So it could be loan fees. It could be a mistake. It could be time to call your bank because it sounds like wherever you got that loan. And feel free to call me, Tyler, 409-626-1061 at the dealership. I can help you research it if you need us to. And figure out what the difference is. But it's probably one of those two things. Either it's just flat a mistake and it should have been lower, or it could be reflectant of the fees that they charged you separate from the interest rate. And those usually are reflected separately and in the annual percentage rate, or what they call APR on the loan. So watch out, guys, because sometimes the large print giveth and the small print taketh away. That's how that works sometimes, Troy. So
is that a common
question
thing? I mean, have you seen it? I mean, is it more common than people expect it to be?
Oh, without a doubt. Yeah, it's in almost every loan we see. There'll be some sort of fees. It's different state to state. All the states seem to feel differently about how the lenders may fee the customers and, how it's disclosed and that sort of thing. But one thing that's pretty part and parcel is if there's a fee, it's usually reflected in the annual percentage rate, not in the interest rate. So oftentimes the interest rate will be advertised and the annual percentage rate will be disclosed at the end, and they can be different. So it's usually not a ton, but it's something to make note of because some lenders have fees, some don't. Some lenders have a better rate for this situation than that. So, when you're getting a loan, even for a car, and, car loans are really important because outside of a mortgage, they're probably the most important loans that you'll get. Or I guess I should throw in their student loans because those are pretty large these days. But aside from those two, definitely the car loans are real important, should be researched. And oftentimes we don't. We find the car and, we don't spend a ton of time researching that side of it. And in many cases, we don't have to because the dealership will supply or even have specials like 0% or 1.9% or something that's, way lower than the market that I can take advantage of. So, but those types of loans often don't have fees. So your APR or your annual percentage rate and your interest rate will be the same. Like in the case of Honda financing, they don't have any separate fees from the interest rate. So, but in many of the credit unions, the local banks do. So that can change what the APR or interest rate is. So in other words, if there's a difference, 99% of the time, that's the reason. Because they have a fee involved in the loan that in the advertisement, it's probably down in the fine print somewhere. But they're always there. And I don't know why the banks do it, but they do. But they do lots of stuff that I don't understand. It doesn't make it right or wrong. It just means that I don't get it. But in reality, you just got to watch close. And before you sign a contract, at least go over the numbers portion of it. Ask questions is really important too. That way, if something is different, there might be a legitimate reason for it. But if you never ask the question and the person you're working with isn't able to disclose it to you in a way that you understand, you got to say something. There's no crime in that. And you should be treated with, patience and kindness and understanding because you're the one spending a lot of money. So if that's not the case, don't be afraid to walk away from a loan. You can get them anywhere, especially if you have good credit. That's for sure. So that'd be my advice. Just watch close. There's usually two different things, an interest rate and an APR or annual percentage rate. So just be cognizant of it. But great question, Tyler. We're going to commercial, you guys. But when we come back, more great stuff. 419-975-9205. Call in a question. We dare you. Don't go away. Don't just dream it, drive it during the Honda Dream Garage Spring Event going on now at Victory Honda of Sandusky. Hi, I'm Gene Capo, and right now our deals are so good you might think you're dreaming. Like a brand new 2019 CR-V LX front-wheel drive lease for only $179 a month, or a brand new 2019 Honda HR-V LX front-wheel drive for just $125 a month. And when you upgrade your vehicle at Victory Honda, we'll give you 125% of the book value for your trade. For complete details, visit VictorySandusky.com. Then come into Victory Honda on the corner of Hayes and Perkins and save big this spring. But you better hurry because those deals won't last. So don't miss the Honda Dream Garage Spring Event now at Victory Honda.
With approved credit through HFS, not all buyers or vehicles will qualify. All leases for 36 months with $29.99 down plus tax, title, license, $4.99 dock, and $9.95 destination fee. 125% of Black Book wholesale value minus restocking, reconditioning, and mileage fees. Subject to clean Carfax report. See dealer for complete details. Offers don't combine. Offer expires 3/31/19.
Hi, folks. Gene Capo here, BehindTheWheelRadio.com. We're back from commercial, living large and loving life here at 1450 AM WLEC. Mix 102.7, Eagle 99.1, and Troy hanging out. Troy, what's been happening?
Things and stuff, Gino. Things and stuff.
Things and stuff. You're going to Arizona for spring training.
Yes, so...
Oh, my gosh.
Unfortunately, spoiler alert, this show is going to play for the next 2 weeks. So this first week, I'll be flying out to Arizona, hopefully. Come on, Southwest. And next week, I will be in... Well, actually, I'll actually be back by then. But we won't have a chance to tape a show since I'll be out in Arizona.
So where in Arizona are you going?
Goodyear.
Goodyear, Arizona.
Home of the Cleveland Indians spring training facility.
Spring training, it's here already.
That's crazy.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
Woo.
Yeah. Actually, the first game will be this Saturday. So the Saturday, the February, what would that be? The 23rd, and the first game on the Indians radio network would have been the 24th.
Sweet.
So there you go.
Yeah.
Baseball's back, baby.
Man, we are
How
so
crazy is
ready
that?
too. We're so ready. My son's already ready.
Well,
If that's a word, already ready.
it helps the fact that the Cavaliers are awful, so everyone's like, please.
Can they make the playoffs?
The
I heard
Cavs?
I heard some
no,
school
they're
about
trying.
that.
No, they're trying to win the lottery, the draft lottery.
Oh, that's what they're trying
to be the worst team. Although they changed the rules in the draft lottery to where the top, if you're the worst team because they don't want people to tank, there's still a good chance that you don't get the number 1 pick in the draft. So,
Gotcha.
Because
Well-
many teams were tanking just so they could get more lottery balls, and they changed the rule to where now, if you're the worst team, you could still have a good chance to get the 5th pick in the draft. So, makes sense.
Interesting. How the Lakers doing?
They're on the outside looking in.
Outside looking in.
Love that.
We'll see how that goes. Questions, you guys. 419-975-9205. Addie from Milan writes, "Hi, Gene. Do you have it's all about loans today. Do you have a favorite lender for a car loan, and where should I start?" Addie from Milan. Well, Addie, when car loans, sometimes you can research the loan separate from the car. However, and there's nothing wrong with that. However, all I would caution is that oftentimes, once you find the car you want, there are loans connected to that car that offer specials that are to be considered as well. So what could happen is a lot of people I see go get pre-approved at credit unions or local banks in advance of getting a car. And there is some benefit to that. There's a little more running around that needs to take place, unfortunately, because you've got to go to the dealership, sign paperwork, go to the lender, sign paperwork, get a check, bring it back to the dealership, that sort of thing. Whereas if you do financing within the dealership, it can be much more easy because you just walk in an office, sit down, sign the papers, and theoretically you're done. Which would you rather do, Troy?
You're putting me on the spot here, Tino.
On the spot.
I know.
Well, the truth is, most folks don't want to do a lot of running around.
Yeah.
So I would research my loans so that I knew at the absolute worst what I could get a loan for and what the interest rate would be. So that way, going into the dealership, I can compare with what's available there. So to me, that's very useful. Secondly, once I find the car that I want, which is ultimately the most important part, because if you get that wrong, it's just no fun, right? And then research the loans that are attached to that car if there are any specials, and then go from there. So there are advantages to doing your own financing, especially if, like in the situation with a credit union where you've been with them a long time, they can do payroll deduction. There's a lot of services that they can provide to their members that are really cool. Some people are only comfortable doing loans with certain folks, and I understand that too, so they can be good that way because I can go see Bill or Tammy or Jerry or whoever my loan person is, and that's the only person I've ever worked with. And there's something to be said for that, Troy. It's good customer service, and it's neighborhood service, and it makes people feel, confident in what they're doing because they're doing it with somebody they know, as opposed to someone in the dealership that they might not know, right? So there's advantages both ways. It just depends on which way you're most comfortable.
How accessible is all that information? I mean, is it because sometimes you go to a website and you're trying to find exactly what you're looking for, and you can just you feel like you're going and you're looking forever and ever, and you can never really find what you're looking for. So how accessible is all that information?
Well, I think if you're sharp on the internet, you can spot the interest rate specials. The truth, unfortunately, most of the time lies in the fine print of those types of ads. So you got to kind of look. If there's an interest rate special on something like 0.9 or 1.9, a lot of times the incentives are on cars that don't sell that well for whatever reason, or they sell lots of them. It can be two reasons. So it doesn't make the car good or bad. It just makes it have an interest rate that they didn't have to do if they didn't want to. So they're trying to incentivize the moving of that vehicle. My question is always why. And do I like that car or that truck or that van or that SUV or whatever it might be? So picking out the car, I think, is first and foremost, and then figuring out a way to own that car the best possible way that you can. So don't forget about the car, and don't buy a vehicle because of the interest rate necessarily. it can be other factors as well. And if interest rate certainly enters into it, and in some cases, it can be staggeringly different. Because for someone with medium credit, they could be staring at a rate on a used car of 12 or 15% very easily with some lenders. Yet on a new car, under a special, they might get 2.9% or 3.9%. So all of a sudden, the new car becomes less expensive than the used car. And I've seen that happen time and time again on different occasions. So interest rate can play a role, and sometimes it can make it a whole lot easier to buy way more car for your hard-earned dollar each month, right? So at 2.9% for your $200 a month, you can spend way more than at 12 or 15%. Does that make sense? And now of my $200 payment, 185 of it is going toward the car I own and a little bit to the bank, where in the other side, I've got a payment that's twice as high because the bank takes half of it every month and puts it in their coffers, right? So it's harder to pay cars down with a higher interest rate. So you got to factor them both in, but I think finding the car I want, and provided you've got good credit, you can get a loan just about anywhere. However, you just got to be careful that you don't end up confused, or the more steps you make in getting the loan, running back and forth, that can be confusing. Mistakes can be made, that sort of thing. So you just got to watch close. But if you do business with folks that you like and that you feel good about, usually the loan details and stuff like that can be handled pretty smoothly in a reputable dealership, and there's lots of them around for sure. But great question, Eddie. If you want, call me at the office, 419-626-1061. I'd be happy to talk to you specifically about your situation. That goes for all of you guys. If you have questions, just call me at the office. And we got to go to break. But gas is super cheap, I saw, Troy. So, well,
It went up, but yeah, it's still cheap.
it's cheap. So keep driving. We'll be right back. Don't just dream it, drive it during the Honda Dream Garage Spring Event going on now at Victory Honda of Sandusky. Hi, I'm Gene Capo, and right now our deals are so good you might think you're dreaming. Like a brand new 2019 Honda Accord LX lease for only $179 a month, or a brand new 2019 Honda Civic LX for just $125 a month. And when you upgrade your vehicle at Victory Honda, we'll give you 125% of the book value for your trade. For complete details, visit victorysandusky.com. Then come into Victory Honda on the corner of Hayes and Perkins and save big this spring. But you better hurry because those deals won't last. So don't miss the Honda Dream Garage Spring Event now at Victory Honda.
With approved credit through HFS, not all buyers or vehicles will qualify. All leases for 36 months with $29.99 down plus tax, title, license, $499 doc, and $995 destination fee. 125% of Black Book wholesale value minus restocking, reconditioning, and mileage fees. Subject to clean Carfax report. See dealer for complete details. Offers don't combine. Offer expires 3/31/19.
Hi, folks. Gene Capo here, BehindTheWheelRadio.com. We're back from commercial. Living large and loving life here at 1450 AM WLEC. Mix 1027 and Eagle 99.1. We're hanging out with Troy. How you doing, Troy?
Doing great, Gino. How are you?
Troy's headed to spring training in Arizona, Goodyear, Arizona, and he is the luckiest guy on the planet, I think. Don't you think so, Troy?
I mean, you want me to get cheesy here? I'm blessed to have a beautiful wife, a beautiful family, beautiful car, beautiful house,
and
the Behind the Wheel show.
And you get to go to Goodyear, Arizona.
Oh, that's
the spring training. Hang out with the players, the coaches. Yeah, everybody gets to do that, Troy. That's awesome. Troy's my new hero. Troy for president. I guess everybody's running anyway, so you might as well too, Troy.
That's right. Throw my name in there.
Throw his name in there. It's going to be great. Ooh, we got a great question from Rebecca from Mansfield. Writes, hi, Gene. When you hire someone, how much do you do in the way of calling previous employers and background checking? Your employees are always so nice. I wondered what your process is. Rebecca from Mansfield. Well, that was nice. And the employees over there are nice, for sure. Well, Rebecca, I think, and we've talked about this on the show before with previous questions. I think when it comes to hiring people, first and foremost, to answer your question, yes, we do some background checking to make sure that the folks that we're prospectively hiring don't have anything that might prevent them from really, really doing well with our dealership. That's kind of how I look at it. And the other thing is, when you get a group of people like we have that work at the dealership, it's important to not take for granted that they're there. And I mean that when I say you've got a really good group of folks. Before you put anybody else with them, you better think long and hard and make sure that you're going to want to work with them just like they're going to want to work with them. And then what that usually means is getting employee involvement. So I don't hire anybody, ever. If you make it through the crew of folks that I have working with me, chances are you're going to make it with me. And I do that because they have to have buy-in as well. And it's their work just as much as it is mine. So I think that's first and foremost, is if you have a crew of any variety, if it's just you, it's easy because all I have to do is work with you. But if you have a crew of any variety and you've got a crew member or members that you think would be good to duplicate and have more folks like them, then they're great people to get involved in your hiring process. So background checking is important. Excuse me. But once the background check is complete, and assuming that person is A-OK to hire in that regard, now what do you do? And are they going to be good for the rest of your crew? Are they going to fit in? Ergo, are they going to do well? Because if I put a really talented person in a place where they just don't fit in, they don't like it, it doesn't fit their personality, it doesn't fit their work style, it doesn't fit them at all. It just makes them miserable every day. And I'm defeated before I start. I'm going to have turnover in both directions because the people around that person are going to be unhappy because they're unhappy. So before I put anybody anywhere, I think the most important part is that you get a feel for, will they fit in the slot that you're trying to put them in? Will they be able to assume the role on that part of the team that you need them to play, right? So football players don't hire linemen to be quarterbacks, and there's a reason. They hire quarterbacks to be quarterbacks. So everybody's a little bit different, and finding those folks that fit in with the rest of the folks in your team and really concentrating on that part of it, I think that's huge toward hiring, even way more so than background checking, even though that's a critical step because these days you have to do that sort of thing to keep your employees safe. You know what I mean? If you care about them at all, you have to keep them safe, obviously, first and foremost. So that's what that's all about. But once that's done, really bring them into the fold would be my advice, Rebecca, and let them help you pick out the right people. Because I've been wrong before. I'll be wrong again. That's the only thing I know for sure, is that I can't do it very well, and I can't be right every time. So I don't try and be, and I let the group of folks that I really enjoy working with, that I'm so lucky to work with, that have been so productive for me, I let them choose who their team members are going to be. And it's worked out so much better because when that person starts, oftentimes the people they work with had a say in their hiring. So they have a stake in the game, and they're more apt to help that person and help them succeed. Does that make sense, Troy?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so that's, I guess, one of the biggest pieces of advice I can give you, Rebecca. The background checks and everything are important because, again, you want to keep your current crew safe, and that's what that's all about. You know, they're working there. They agreed to come work with you. You got to take it and make sure that you're being, proactive on making sure that they're safe in their work environment. And, common sense goes a long way in things like that. If you think it's wrong, it probably is. If you think it's right, it probably is. And that's the same way with people. And, listen to the folks that you have helping you hire. And don't be afraid to go with your instincts. And don't be afraid, more importantly, to go with their instincts. When they come up with a good idea, go with it. The best ideas came from the greatest places. My favorite thing in the entire world is, and this is not a product placement, but I guess it is, it's Hershey's syrup. Milk chocolate, Troy. And to hear the story about Milton Hershey, he brought this chocolate back from Europe that was all dark and terrible, and nobody liked it. But it was one of his employees that mixed it with milk, creating milk chocolate and putting old Milton Hershey on the map.
Wow.
Yeah, so if he didn't listen to that person and he said, you guys get back to work, right? Quit fooling around. Who knows what he would have missed out on, but that's not what happened. And to this day, I am the benefactor of that decision. Thank goodness, because I love his chocolate in any variety I can find, for sure. I don't think chocolate's very good for you either, Troy.
I heard dark chocolate is actually pretty good for you.
Well, I think that milk chocolate is wonderful for me.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm quite certain of it, actually. But Teresa from Huron writes, "Hi, Gene. How long do the batteries on the hybrids last? Is there a warranty? And if so, how long?" Well, great question, Teresa, because we're selling more and more and more hybrids all the time, Troy. It's crazy. The batteries last quite a long time, in my experience. We've been selling them since 1990, believe it or not, Teresa. And that came out in the first Insight we ever made, which was on the CRX platform, little two-seater car with a hybrid engine, and back in 1990. And they're probably still running today around here somewhere, for sure. And today we use a little different battery system, but they're warranted for 10 years. We haven't had to replace any. Batteries do degrade over time. It's kind of a natural degradation, if you'll forgive the expression, that batteries will downgrade over a period of time. However, doesn't mean they won't operate the car sufficiently, and they will. And Honda's warranty is 10 years long, and so far we've had extremely good luck with all the battery systems in the cars. Not that the Hondas don't take an occasional fixing, they do. However, in that particular area, it seemed to work pretty well. And especially in the gas hybrid batteries, because those seem to be the ones that we haven't had any issue with at all on really any of them. But those have been great cars. We haven't sold them in huge numbers yet, but every year we seem to sell more, and there's more and more on the road. And I get more back used and resell them, and they recondition just as well as the other cars. So I wouldn't be afraid to buy one for sure, Teresa, even long term. If you like to keep your cars long term, I wouldn't be afraid of those cars at all. We've had good luck with those batteries over the years. And, even though hybrids might be new to you, they're not new to Honda. They've been at it a long time. So call me at the office, 419-626-1061, Teresa. I'll be happy to tell you all about the Honda batteries and which cars and how they operate, because we've got several these days. We've got the Insight. We got the Clarity. We've got the brand new Insight just came out, and it is an amazing car. And then the Accord hybrid is even more so. Both those cars are very worthy. And the Clarity is just a wonderful riding car. It's a plug-in hybrid, so you can run with no fuel in that one if you choose to. Run on only electricity, charge it up every day, and away you go.
Do you ever see a day where we don't have the regular gas engine vehicle anymore? Or do you think that there'll maybe always be the hybrid?
Ooh, Troy, question of the day. That's a good question, but it's hard not to see how methods in power storage won't evolve like the rest of everything does. So it's pretty difficult not to look way down the line and go, yeah, one of these days we'll be able to go 400 miles on a charge or 500 miles on a charge. And, that's not that much further than what we're doing now. And I think you'll see methods of regeneration too, where as you travel, braking, coasting, whatever, you might see more regeneration mechanisms that will restore power to batteries as you travel, so that, the power systems become more self-satisfying, if you will. I bet you see some of that too down the road. But electricity seems to be the going theme for the auto industry, trying to make the cars burn cleaner and cleaner and eventually not burn probably at all. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see, Troy, what happens over time with the gas combustion motor and, the use of oil and the whole business. But it sure seems like we're trending toward all electric. And if that's the case, I'm sure there'll be a lot of battery technology that'll be pretty cool in the future. But favorite lender for a car loan, I think it's whichever one is going to be the best one for you cost-wise. Call me at the office. We'd be more than happy to talk it over. Teresa from here on the batteries last 8-10 years. Don't be afraid of them. We've had excellent luck so far. Rebecca from Mansfield. Background checking, all that stuff's important when you're hiring someone, but get the folks involved that are already on your team, because that really helps too. Tyler from Oregon, give me a call at the office on your contract. The difference is probably some fees that drove the interest rate from 3.94 to an annual percentage rate of 4.21. But let's make sure we can make a phone call. Let me know at the office, 419-626-1061. It's been a great show, you guys. We love you. Happy motoring, and we'll see you next week.
Need expert automotive advice? Email your car question to Gene@BehindTheWheelRadio.com. Tune in next Saturday for Behind the Wheel Radio, featuring Gene Capo of Victory Honda of Sandusky.